your tits. She always shows her tits. She got that boob job. Show 'em.
She sure did. and they're nice.
That'd be a little more difficult then for them to get it, right? So I don't know if prevention of beauty is the solution. I think the problem
sell sports cars all the time. If it's that important to you, it shouldn't be cheap. Because every woman has one.
But I think the problem is the cultural mindset of us as men. We're actually the cause of this problem.
No, I disagree.
Because in the back of our head, let me explain. We feel like we don't have other options, right? So therefore, we see the girl and say, in order for me to get that girl, I have to buy a Porsche because she'll only respond to that. Now, the cost for buying a Porsche can buy you 12 plane tickets and hotel rooms to any other country where this is not an issue. I should wear this shit on stage. It's kind of cool looking.
One pack, that's so funny, dude.
Oh my god, I heard my throat doing that frog voice. Just ignore me. Look that way, go on with your conversation.
Me and Anna went to dinner. We gave our after party passes to another couple. Yeah, so well, Anna doesn't drink. So like, what's the point of going to places, an open bar and mingling when you don't drink? And I'm like, I'm not a star fucker, so I don't give a shit. And so and his artist and this other girl was trying, like another singer was trying to get on his label. He was so cool by giving them. He only got 2 passes. Only got 2 passes. So he gave them to them. And in reality, if you're somebody, you don't go to that after party, right? You go to somebody's house and kicking it, right? Somebody has a big LA mansion and party. You're not going to where you're getting harassed by people in the industry. This is the industry people that go to that thing, right? So there's a lot of people that are working in the recording category. So people that don't need boob jobs are getting boob jobs. People that need boob jobs are getting boob jobs.
True.
And it's like, and so you have now people all lumping out of this category.
All right, so maybe here's a solution. Because clearly the problem, we agree there's a problem.
There's a problem.
All right, so maybe here's a solution. The cost of boob jobs should be more expensive.
Yes.
Right? But if you really need one, there should be a government subsidized program to provide one.
Doesn't give a shit because they're becoming a man and they're dead downtrending on sexiness and vanity and proud of how they look. Where the top 25%, or like these women that have potential like these women here, they're moving up into another category in which there's this now void of like just a nice 7.
Right.
That is a little insecure that we're suddenly getting out a guy who is the right guy to fill that. So instead of filling it with a human relationship, to actually have a growth experience, to have self-esteem, right? You're now going on this very immature adolescent thing, which is I want boobs.
Right.
Because, hate to say it, when you're 90, it's fucking awesome to get that box.
Dude. Have you played with this yet?
Mm-mm.
It is a work fucking station, man. It is not a laptop, right? I mean, the fact that I can run Sony Vegas, and I still crash it, because I'm ADD and 100 windows open at the same time, right? But the fact that I can have multiple instances of Sony Vegas open, which means I can edit multiple things at the same time,
it's pretty badass.
Is pretty fucking great.
Yep. Yeah, my biggest mistake of my life was I didn't buy a precision desktop for my house. And
this still has more power than I can get out of any other possible box if I bought something new now, because they don't offer the amount of gigs of RAM that that we discovered on this thing.
Yeah, even with that's what Apple. Yeah, I had plugged my laptop in before I went to sleep on Friday because I wanted to work on the plane. So when I came downstairs in the morning, my computer was shut down. I'm like, that's weird. Unplug the computer, throw it in my thing, go to the airplane, get on the airplane. I'm like, hey, I got a 3-hour flight, and I got some work. Turn the computer batteries out. I'm like, motherfucker, somehow I didn't plug it. My stupor on Friday night when I came down there.
You plugged it in the back, didn't plug it in the wall?
That's the only thing I can think of. I had no idea. way too stressed out in my lifetime.
Stand up, walk around, show yourself off.
Yeah, it's it.
All right, do me so we can actually show this, folks.
Oh, I'll do you. I'm gonna do you right.
Gordon. Cloverfield style. Cloverfield style.
There's Anand. Actually, we need to get you by me because otherwise there's a glare from the light source. Although you look a little more angelic that way. Oh.
Oh, fucking balls.
There we are, all India'd out.
Like I'm in Star Wars or something gay.
All right.
Your impressions, the 50th annual Grammy Awards.
Best awards ceremony I've ever witnessed on television or live ever. Although the pre-telecast was much like going to a graduation. But meeting Stephen Wright and Lisa Lampanelli, and running into David Grohl for the Foo Fighters, very cool. The fact that Lisa Lampanelli grabbed you to have to go like give her speech that she didn't because she lost, and giving her speech to you while on Howard Stern's radio program, very cool. What else?
Grabbed you and grabbed me. For those of you who are watching.
What else? And who the fuck do I look like?
Michael Bublé.
Yes. Lisa Lampanelli started riffing on me and thinking that I look like whatever that guy's name is.
Michael Bublé.
But the funniest thing was hanging out with the wannabe artist on your label, and then your artist that's on your label, and the woman knowing I love Dank. I don't know which was better. Lisa Lampanelli like giving her acceptance speech to Anand Bhatt on Howard Stern's radio program, or a wannabe artist knowing that we made the music like this is
knowing the A&A tune I Love Dank that we recorded in 1996 on a boombox.
Yes.
Very obscure that she would know this song.
Yes.
Let alone find it.
Nice gems of the night were Daft Punk actually coming out with Kanye West. That was the surprise, didn't know it, and actually made him so much more authentic and valid for that performance. Tina Turner and Beyonce, very cool seeing Tina Turner. Aretha was good. Seeing Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis, surprisingly Jerry Lee Lewis was, for being almost dead.
He means Larry Flint when he was singing Great Balls of Fire.
What else, man?
Talk about Tina Turner?
Tina Turner's good, yeah, well that's all. It's Tina Turner, Beyonce. And then what else were the good performances?
Morris Day.
Morris Day and the Time, yes. Morris Day and the Time were off the hook. And then who's that good that she did that the Umbrella song? What's that chick's name?
Feist?
No, she was okay.
Oh, Rihanna.
Rihanna. They did the Time.
Rihanna and the Time. That was good.
And then they did Rihanna's song, and they went back into the Time, and she started doing the dance with them.
They
did the whole like mirror thing.
That was cool.
What else was a good performance? There's a lot of good.
That's this dance. My favorite dance.
Like they're almost. It's almost like they want to be Irish, but they had to change it up some. It's almost like an Irish.
Prince
jig.
and Morris Day are Irish wannabes.
Well, I mean, it's just like that. It's a jig move, right? It's like usually they go like usually Jerry Lee Lewis doing his dances like this. Well, this how to go like I'm gonna do it, but ridiculousness. What else?
Kanye West consistently making an ass out of himself is pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, the Vince Gill put down. The Vince Gill put down of Kanye West was awesome. Where Kanye West he won one Grammy tonight, which I think is how they chose him. Was they allowed only one person to win an award. The others they didn't pick awards where there were multiple winners. The same person didn't go out multiple times, which is probably how they selected which ones to actually pick.
To televise.
Because Kanye West won 3 Grammys.
Right.
But he only went up on stage once, which actually, if you're doing you gotta turn this back on. Which makes a lot of sense. But I think probably the biggest star of the night was the person whoever decided how to play out and coordinate the Grammys, right? Like from the from like an artist finishing their performance to introduce the category, like sped shit up, and then picking the artist smartly, so like they didn't go, you didn't see the same artist accept the other award, except, did Vince Gill? No, who won Album of the Year? Oh, it was Herbie Hancock.
Historic.
Yes, that Herbie Hancock.
Historic.
Actually,
Herbie Hancock, first jazz album to win in 43 years.
yes, to win Album of the Year.
His mother looks like George Washington if you've been in Chicago and seen her walking around.
But George Washington, the mayor of Chicago, she looks like the former mayor of Chicago. What else performances? The Black Eyed Peas guy, he is so over, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
That
was pointless.
That was probably the low point of the entire festival.
That was like filler. That was pretty pointless.
Yeah, it was like he
didn't even sing a song, right? He just kind of made shit up as he went along for less than 2 minutes, right?
I'm sure he did his thing, whatever that thing is, but
it wasn't a song length.
And also the country act they had was also pretty shitty.
Oh, Paisley or whatever his name is.
Paisley.
Brad Paisley.
And the reason why is because everybody else had a unique take. Like they had a duet with somebody, they went into another song, so it was like a medley. And most of the performances for the night were like kind of pretty diverse except for Feist. But then Feist had, the classical element in the back, like that accompaniment. Right? But still the whole classical genre was pretty well represented in the fact that they had a lot of accompaniment. Obviously Foo Fighters, that was their highlight. There's fucking the chick, the little mini American Idol.
Oh, the sexy little violinist that won.
Yes. But then predicting that the cello player would play Eruption. She should have went right into it.
Right. Totally.
She should have started doing the finger tap.
Totally. Do that again. What was that? Oh, Rhapsody in Blue.
Oh yeah, with Herbie Hancock.
Usually Grammys don't have anything of artistic cultural value going on, right? That was
that
great.
Chinese friggin' gifted piano player, and then obviously Herbie Hancock against Rhapsody in Blue, like one of the most famous Gershwin songs of all time.
And I gotta say, usually not a gospel fan. This is the best gospel medley ever. It was like they were on top of it.
Yeah, well,
that trombone
crazy,
stuff.
that was probably another highlight. New Orleans brass band where they had 2 trombone players, like wailing, soloing, and jumping around. And then one guy, I don't know if you noticed, he was a white hair.
Old, you mean?
Yeah, he was like the guy that was actually laying down like the heavy like meat of the solo was an older man.
Wow.
Right, and like just laying it down, like basically he played like I witnessed when I saw Iggy Pop play with his band the Stooges at Lollapalooza. They played like God Take Me Now and Kill Me, because I couldn't think of a better way for me to die right now than to fucking perform in this venue and die on stage. Like they play, that's what they play like, right? This is it. You better muster your energy because man, you're never gonna have a bigger audience, right? Mm-hmm. That was another highlight. I'm sure forgetting shit though. That Punk thing was
a lot of shit
with Kanye West. How did it start? What was the first performance?
And I don't know. And they were really like all about prepare yourself.
No, it was the Frank Sinatra where they used
with Alicia Keys and Frank Sinatra. Yeah, yeah, that was alright.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because it kind of like it brought.
Well, it didn't need to be Alicia Keys because she performed 3 times that night.
Yeah, she shouldn't have performed so much.
It should have been like Nancy Sinatra's daughter or something.
It should have been somebody else. I agree.
Oh, but Alicia kicked ass.
Oh yeah.
Alicia Keys was fucking awesome tonight, and it was nice. If you can see my brown ass in this darkness, and it was nice that John Mayer. We didn't actually have to. We didn't actually force ourselves to actually listen to John Mayer for more than 30 seconds. That was great.
An Al Blues noodling solo.
An Al Blues noodling solo.
Right, I mean, like, with no thought, just went out there, kind of let jam, and then sang a little bit against her, and that was it. We didn't have to witness more than 2 minutes of John Mayer.
Which is great.
Which is perfect for our taste.
Yeah, great. And we could say we saw John Mayer live,
yes,
but not actually have to endure it.
Yes, agree. There was a Carrie Underwood song. She was looking hot. The song was energetic.
Oh yeah, and it was choreographed. There's all cool stomp looking stuff.
Yeah, that was the guys
right?
we saw in the background, like practicing their moves all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so backstage on the Carrie Underwood thing, so we can see what's going on backstage. They're practicing the same moves.
For like 25 minutes.
Like over and over again.
Same move.
Right. And they finally went on, and they were tight. They got it, but it was pretty interesting at backstage. They're practicing like robots.
Yeah, it's pretty
for
crazy.
a long time.
I guess, you know, the greatest stage. And that what's also really cool is there was no host. No host. So they made the Grammys, right, with thinking they were going to perform, right, during the writer's strike. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Where they didn't have any speeches really prepared. Like, it was like, hey guys, we just finished a performance, here's the next artist, and then somebody that was already pre-recorded would then the nominee's artist and they would read off the name. There was no pre-written monologue.
Right.
So even though the writer's strike, I guess, ended, right, it probably was announced this week.
Or ended, or well,
because
prior to it ending, there were a lot of petitions signed, and the WGA agreed not to picket it to allow it to be on CBS.
Yeah,
but it was written to be entertaining and not a lot of speeches. It was a concert.
Yeah, it was a concert, which how the Grammy should be. Because it's the music speaks, right? It's not people get up there and like Kanye West saying like, I'm the greatest, I want to be the number one, I'm the greatest person that ever walked the earth. And it's like he's playing other people's music and rapping over it. So when Vince Gill, who was so elegant, right, went up there and accepted his award from the Beatles, right? It was nice that he took a little shot at him and be like, hey, so have this happened to you? You given a Grammy by one of the Beatles?
And I like how he pronounces his name. He's Vince Gill. Says, Kanye. Has this ever happened to you, Kanye? Fucking Vince Gill.
It's a nice little dig there. And then obviously the theory going that Kanye West actually paid the Academy to play his music like while there's commercials going.
Right. All right, so here's more odd behind the scenes. Oh, interesting. I didn't know it worked that way. Lamp doesn't work.
So I unplugged it.
Other odd behind the scenes is first time I've seen we actually got no food or drinks.
Oh yeah, nothing.
Right. And
yeah, we got there what time?
Grammy Awards for those is that a 10 or is what 8-hour event? 7.5.
We got there so 1 o'clock and we left at 8:30, so it's really a 7.5-hour event.
7.5-hour event. No food and little Dasani waters. Now usually it's open bar everywhere you look, and like.
Yeah, this Grammy was sponsored by AA.
Now, everything was moved around for a normal year, so you don't necessarily believe what's going on and what security tells you. So we, like idiots, followed Dave Grohl. Right?
Yes, yes.
There's Dave Grohl. Let's follow Dave so we can cut through the red carpet and get to our seats. Now, little do we know that there's an outdoor thing going on, so we followed Dave Grohl outside of the venue to where we couldn't get back to get on the red carpet, and we just had to get in through the front door of Staples Center to get in, because we had no idea that they were playing an outdoor concert at the same time as the Grammys with Jason Bateman.
They always put David Grohl outside. Does he smell?
Well,
because he on TV, same thing happened. Like he was playing at some other fucking stage.
Dave Grohl and the rest of his band looks like
Kansas.
Kansas. Fuck the Doobie Brothers.
The Doobie Brothers.
And their children have been living in a barn and have never showered.
Yeah, the Doobie Brothers is great because the guy with the blonde hair but with the dark beard, like that
drummer.
Yes, that dynamic with the dark beard with the blonde hair. Yes, that is totally Doobie Brothers.
Fucked Kansas. They had crazy illegitimate hillbilly children. Those children were raised in a barn and now live in a trailer and call themselves Foo Fighters. That's what they look like now. Although the sound quality of Foo Fighters, that was the heaviest act and that's the only rock that we got to see the whole night. Well, listen, dude, Larry Flint singing Great Balls of Fire.
Little Richard.
John
Fogerty.
And that chimpanzee that we call John Fogerty do not count as rock music.
Well, Foo Fighters, I mean.
Well, so that's Foo Fighters was.
Well, you know, Little Richard claims to be the grandfather of rock and roll, right? Because he predates Elvis.
Rock and roll is not rock music. Rock and roll is rock and roll because there's some rolling involved, right? It's not rock music. Rock music, your guitar's plugged in, somebody's yelling, and the drummer's actually doing something, right? I hate to say this is going to be rude. Everyone who's watching is going to be really ostracized here, but rock and roll is what we saw Mr. Credence and Little Richard play. Rock music involves some skill. Alright. So that's the great wrap up. What else are we missing here?
I think it's it.
Steve Gray had a pretty sexy date. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. She's a lot of fun. Blue Island Girl. Like she's my age, so it's very well possible that if her parents decided to go on the other side of the tracks, she would have went to my grammar school and or junior high.
Wow. And you could have knocked her up sometime in the 80s and 90s and been a famous set designer.
You could have been.
You could have been.
Could have been stuck with. Could have been stuck with the better girl. Seems like a really nice.
Great. Latina Webb, Maxwell's background singer.
Yes, Latina Webb, Maxwell, and she did background singing for a lot. But she was also doing her own background singing, you know, in the crowd next to us. I was like, you got the skills. Golden silk sequence dress. Everybody thought she was ultra famous.
If you've seen every Grammy and Leslie, you've seen her as background singer performing at the Grammys.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
And I'm trying to figure out what we miss. Oh. So in all reality, comedy, best comedy album. In all reality, I voted for George Lopez. Some Flight of the Conchord Fancy Pussies won. I think that's the name of it. Like,
Flight of the Conchord, they're a Canadian duo.
No, okay. Oh, it's actually a comedy troupe, huh? Because I'm like, Flight of the Conchord, what is that? Some new age band?
I thought so too.
Right? And I'm like, it's the wrong category. You guys fucked up. Right? You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like...
Well, when you see Stephen Wright and Lisa Lampanelli...
Stephen Wright is sitting diagonal to us,
yes,
right?
Like right there.
And the whole time I'm looking back there, and all I can keep saying in my head is it January? No, man, it's August, right? So Stephen Wright is sitting diagonal. Lisa Lampanelli is a few seats up. And I'll relay the story of Lisa Lampanelli grabbed me and forced me to do an Indian accent on the Howard Stern show. But I like the both. I'm a bit starstruck when it comes to comedians. Even though I voted for George Lopez, told Stephen Wright I voted for him. 10 minutes later, I told Lisa Lampanelli I voted for her. But that seemed to work out great.
And that's what Lisa Lampanelli said. Yeah, well, I finally was able to make up with Stephen Wright, and he's like, yeah, I guess we have something in common now. That we're both lost here at the Grammys. Together. I guess you have a commonality now.
And then what,
Well, it's weird. When I saw Stephen Wright, and I looked over my shoulders right there, I was like, I thought it was Stephen Wright, but he looked directly at me, and he's really not aged well, right? Like he looked much older than me, and so I was confusing him with another like weird. There's another weird producer / person that looks kind of like
right,
that.
I know what you're talking about.
And he looks a lot thinner and skinnier in
right.
person, like than he looks like on
right.
you know on.
And let's say number two, his date was quite attractive.
Oh, she was smoking.
And I never.
For a comedian,
don't imagine a comedian. Although comedy's coming a long way, a comedian too. Stephen Wright is awesome, but dude, it's Stephen Wright. You don't expect him to have a hot date.
I mean, how good can he be in bed? I mean, somebody's gotta be fucking.
He's pretty slow.
He's gotta be fucking somebody. Somebody's gonna be fucking that woman because it's definitely not him.
Man, then I missed out because maybe Stephen Wright hires people to have sex with a woman because he doesn't seem like the man to have the energy to have sex, let alone with someone that's smoking. I can just picture him. I'm gonna jerk off in the corner.
Here's the students of the super sounds of the 70s.
January.
Yeah.
You're gonna have sex with the Indian man.
Although, what was probably, I think, one of the things that was pretty shocking to me in the pre-telecast, for those that are watching never been to Grammys, you should know all of the winners, all 100 of them, or I guess it's 110. 110. All 110 winners are announced at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, in like a ceremony just for the Academy.
The actual.
That's the actual where something.
Right.
And the performance is in the evening, and what you see is the performance. Of how many people didn't show up to actually see their awards, right? To get their awards.
Which is unusual, for sure.
Right. But what's crazy about that is that Carrie Underwood was really the only A-list performer, but she's obviously an American Idol person, so she's still kind of new to the scene, was that showed up to even know that they won. So either artists that actually were like up for awards, either feigned like they didn't know, like Kanye West putting his hands in the head trying to pray that he win the fucking album of the year.
Dave Grohl showed up to see.
Yeah, Dave Grohl did too, but we were walking out. That's right. We had left out a little.
Yeah, but and he did do a good feigning. Dave Grohl does. Wow, this is great, right? Stopping each sentence he's saying. So like he did a good acting job of pretending like he didn't know.
Pretending like they didn't know.
He did a good job doing that. But there's no way their people are there, right?
Oh yeah, you're sending your entourage.
So Kanye
is all fake.
Is not the type of person who's gonna be able to wait an hour. First of all, Kanye is the type of person, I don't know if everybody sees this, that if he doesn't win an award, he's the biggest baby in the world.
Which is actually what that one woman that was hosting the pre-telecast ceremony.
So Patty Austin says, I'm really glad Kanye won every award possible. Because he won 3 in a row at the actual awards, not what we got.
And he wasn't there to
see on TV, right? The actual awards behind the scenes. And so her response is, I'm glad he actually won every award possible because we really don't want to see him deal with him.
Yeah, dealing with crying backstage.
Deal with him if he didn't win, not just one.
There's definitely a lot, which is weird that he won so much because there's so much and obviously animosity towards his attitude.
Right.
Like
he's the jackass of the industry, but look how much Kanye content is getting played. Right.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, because I did not vote that category, so I never heard that Kanye album. And for all we know, it's really good.
Well, it's just cool he performed with Daft Punk, which gives him a lot more validity in my book.
Well, what was cool about that is I was ignoring Kanye was on the stage.
Oh, and the Chemical Brothers won a Grammy for fucking electronic music, right?
Chemical Brothers won? No, who did win?
No, it was Chemical.
We stood up, it was Chemical Brothers?
It was Chemical Brothers. And that album's not very good. It's actually their worst album.
That's great.
Actually, I would recommend not buying that album, but they won a Grammy for it.
Okay, you heard it here. Don't buy the album.
Don't buy it.
They want to Grammy for it. And
LCD Sound System and Justice are by far much superior albums. They're much more original. The Chemical Brothers are tapped out. And it was actually they almost mailed it in and cashed a check. That's what it kind of seemed to me.
And Beastie Boys, who I did not even know released anything.
I used to be so innocent. I never meant to cause anyone harm. Now every rapper in the country would kill his mother just to get a phone call from me. Listen, power is great, if only no one got hurt in the process.
Do you know what you have? Friends that would take a bullet just to save your